What's up, guys? Tim Gillette here, Morning Star Jiu Jitsu Denver. Got with me today Rigo, and we're gonna make another video today. And this one's gonna be on breaking grips. And this is something that you can use standing, on the ground, in the guard, pretty much any position. Breaking grips is always a good skill to kind of understand and know right there. So we're gonna start with doing them in guard, and then I'll get some kind of more close-ups on it so you can see how the grip break actually works right there. And this is something you can practice at home if you have a roommate, significant other, wife, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. I know normally they don't like you practicing your jiu-jitsu on them, but with grip breaks, I think you should be fine, and maybe they'll even want to learn this because it's just kind of a good little martial arts or self-defense skill to have, all right? So we're gonna start down in guard. And once I'm in guard here, the big thing that I need to worry about is he's trying to grip onto my hands, maybe he's trying to arm bar me, triangle choke me, set up sweeps, things like that. So one thing that I always want to try to do is keep inside position on the biceps to make it a little bit harder for him to get any kind of grips on me. And then the second thing I'm trying to do is try to stay lined up with my partner. So my spine is in line with his spine. And so if he starts to shift his hips off one way, then I can start to kind of shift with him and try to stay kind of squared up there with him. And while all this is going on, he's going to be trying to get grips on me. So we're going to start with just basic wrist control grips. And the first one we're going to do is a cross grip. So he's using his right arm on my right arm, right? And he's got a wrist control grip right here. So the weakest part of the grip is between the thumb and the finger right there. And my wrist is wider in one direction and narrower the other direction. So I want to line up my wrist where it's narrow between his thumb and finger. And that's going to make it so I can break the grip. So since the gap here is pointing outward, that's the direction I'm going to break the grip in. So I'm going to rotate my palm up, and that's going to line up the skinny part of my wrist with the gap in his thumb and his fingers. And now I can slip out of that grip right there. All right. So if he takes that grip again, I can turn palm up and slip out of that grip. Okay. So it's a pretty easy grip break, but anytime we're trying to work from the guard here, he grabs that wrist, I can turn and break that grip right there and get out of it. Now the second way he could grip is the opposite direction, right? So now he's gripping where the top of his hand is facing towards his face. So now the grip break is on the side here, but it's going to be hard for me to rotate and break outward in this direction. So I'm going to rotate and break downward or inward towards his body for this one. So now I'm going to rotate my wrist down and put some pressure on that thumb, and now I can break out of that grip again, right? So he takes that grip, I rotate down, and I break that grip. So the first one, he grabs that way, I rotate out, he grabs the other way, I rotate down and break that grip. The last one is when he goes 2-on-1, right? He might be gripping here, kind of the forearm, and I'm going to break the grip using two hands now, because he can be pretty strong here. It can be hard for me to actually pull out of this grip and break the grip, but if I can come in and take a grip with my hands together here, and I'm not going to necessarily be trying to lever my hand up towards me, but I'm driving my elbow forward and levering up the hand at the same time. And that elbow forward is really going to help break the grips there, okay? So again, 2-on-1, grip, drive the elbow forward as I pull up, and that's going to break the 2-on-1 grips right there. So we've done cross grips, we've done 2-on-1. Same thing kind of applies now if we do same side grips, right? So now, even if he goes 2-on-1 here, he switched his hands, right? He's in the other order now. So this grip will be the exact same, this break. I drive that elbow forward and pull back, and that's going to break the grip right there. So it doesn't matter which way he has his hands in that scenario. And now he's going to grab same side. So here again, he's gripping one way. And so I'm going to rotate down and out, okay? So here, we rotate down and out against that thumb. If he grabs here, now the opening is inward, so now I'm going to rotate inward and break that grip. All right, so we're here, we'll break the grip. If he grabs the other way, I'm going to rotate down and break the grip right there. So you can kind of work with, if you have a roommate or somebody at home, you can kind of grab some grips and just start breaking the different grips here, right? He grabs different ways, I break the grips. Boom, he grabs 2 on 1, boom, I can break that grip, right? He cross grips, or he grabs that way, I break that grip. He cross grips, boom, break that grip. He goes the other way, I break it down, right? So it's very good just kind of to understand how to break those grips and how to circle your wrists out of those grips right there, okay? All right, so now a little bit closer kind of look at how the grip breaks. So he's grabbing my wrist. This is same side control. And you can see where the thumb and the fingers come together. That's going to be the weak point on the grip. So I want to align my wrist with that point of his grip. And the wrist is skinny in one direction and kind of wide in the other direction, right? So I want the skinny blade part of my wrist to face against the finger and the thumb right there. And now when I curl my arm, I can break that grip right there. So he's holding on. If I try to break it here where maybe the wide part of my wrist is there, it's not really going to fit very easily. So I need to rotate it, get that skinny blade part of my wrist in line with his thumb and fingers, and now I can break that grip, okay? So same thing if he grips the other way. Now we're down there. So now instead of rotating inward to break the grip, because if I do that, I'm going to be actually pushing into his fingers here, I need to rotate my wrist. So now the bottom part of my wrist is in line with the thumb and the fingers, and I need to circle it down, and we're going to break that grip, right? So he grips here, rotate, skinny part of my wrist in line with the thumb and the fingers, and now I can rotate it down, and we're going to break that grip right there, okay? If he's got 2 on 1 right here, so now again, when I take my grip, I'm not necessarily just trying to pull up towards my wrist, my elbow is also going forward. And that's how we're going to break that grip there a little bit stronger, is having that elbow drive forward. He switches his grips, same thing. Come here, drive that elbow forward to break that grip, okay? And now if he cross grips, all right? So we were doing same side, now we have cross grip. So similar thing, now I need to rotate my wrist so it's in line with the finger and thumb gap there, and rotate it out and break that grip, okay? So he takes that grip, so I'm going to rotate, break it inward. If he grabs the other direction, but now you can see again, I'm going to rotate my wrist in line with the thumb and fingers, and I'm going to rotate it outward, all right? Down and out. So now you can kind of just have a little game if you want to. They can just grab whichever grip they want, and you're going to break it in any different way that they grip right there, all right? So you can work through all those grips right there. You can do it from that guard position. You can do it standing. You can do it any position at all. The last one I want to do then is the overhook, right? If he takes an overhook on my arm, this is common when we're playing in the guard right here. He's got my posture broken down a bit. This means he's going to start to attack me, so it's hard for me to pull the arm out. And the way that I'm going to get my arm out of here is we're going to do kind of what we call a limp arm technique. So that means I want to lead with the elbow when I pull out of this overhook. When I lead with the elbow, I can't lead with the elbow here because he's going to be able to have that grip tight enough, and it's even going to potentially expose my arm for an arm lock. So I'm going to open up my hand, palm up, and I want my palm to go against his back. Now if his back is on the mat, that can be pretty difficult for me to get my hand there, so I need to rock him up on his side a little bit. So on the other side here, I'm going to control his bicep or his wrist a little bit. I don't want this hand on the mat because it'll give him another overhook. The other thing is if I put my hand on the mat and I start to lean over a little bit here, it can start to set up triangle chokes and different things like that. So I want to have bicep or wrist control here. I like to go bicep so I can keep my elbow in. I'm going to lean slightly to this side and post this foot up. I'm clamping in with my knee, and that's going to kind of lock his hips so he can't shift his angle to try to attack. And now he's up off of his back just enough that I can bring my palm against the back, rotate it down, and now my elbow can lead out of that overhook, and I can escape that position. So again, overhook, bicep control on the opposite side, post the foot, palm up against your partner's back, rotate it down, and now you'll be able to pull out of that overhook right there, okay? Last time, if he really tries to hold that overhook, I can post here, circle, and we can pull that arm out, right? Oh, That's the motion right there. Leading out with that elbow. All right, so it's a couple grip break, just kind of techniques right there. I thought I'd show you guys something you can work on at home while you're not able to come into the gym and train. And again, if you have a roommate, significant other, someone at home, some of these grips, you might be able to practice with them and they won't get too mad at you like when you want to practice your heel hooks. All right, so I hope you guys are still safe and healthy, and we'll see you on the next video. All right, take care.